Alright, welcome back to Immunology and Biology Road to Genius. I do apologize for not making this video earlier. I've been very busy. Anyways, I'll be trying to make more videos like this every week or every 2 weeks depending on my schedule. Anyway, let's go back to what we're doing. Before we did the MyD88 pathway, now we're going to focus on the TRIF pathway. Right? If you don't know what MyD88 pathway is, if you don't know where to find it, just go to my channel and you will locate the video, and I go through some summary of what it does. And so this is also the general pathway, the TRIF pathway. And in later videos, we're looking at each protein in uh, properly, each protein in detail. Right now, I'm just going to look at the overall pathway. Now, the TRIF pathway is mostly involves toll-like receptor 4, toll-like receptor 3. And a quick revision: TIR receptors are receptors called under the class or the family PRRs, or pattern recognition receptors. What they do is they recognize patterns of pathogens, right? Like bacteria, lipopolysaccharides, or the rest. For instance, toll-like receptor 4 recognizes lipopolysaccharides of bacteria and the rest of them. And it also recognizes other toll-like receptor 3 recognizes parts of viruses, right, like DNA and stuff like that. Okay, so that's what they are, basically speaking. And if you want to see more on that, there are many videos on that on YouTube. I will be covering that in more detail later. Now back to the video. Okay, TRIF is an adapter protein, right? It's like the MAL, MAL is like TRAM, it's like a MyD88. All those are adapter proteins, but TRIF and MyD88 are particularly specific because they are the ones that they are the main phase of the entire cascade, so to speak. While MAL and TRAM are things called bridging bridging they're called bridging adapters. That is MAL and TRAM. Okay. Now, for TLR receptor 4, okay, let's assume this TLR receptor 4. Remember, that's the leucine-rich region, also known as the horseshoe region. This is the membrane spinal region, okay, and this is the TIR region, right? Okay, and yeah, this what here, okay, is the membrane. Is the lipid bilayer. Okay, it's the bilayer, right? Phospholipid bilayer, sorry. So this leucine-rich region is where the stuff binds in. This membrane spinal region is where the thing attaches to the lipid bilayer, and this TIR region is where the adapter proteins bind to. Okay, now for toll-like receptor 4, okay, sorry about that. For toll-like receptor 4, okay, there are two patterns that can occur, right? Okay, either it occurs through the the either it recruits MYD88. Okay, I have to stop it from doing that. Maybe a second. If it keeps doing that, I do apologize. Okay, by the plasma, by being bound to the plasma membrane. Okay, or it recruits it is located in the, and it recruits TRIF. Sorry, it recruits TRIF by being bound to the endosome. So when it's bound to the endosome, it recruits TRIF. When it goes to when it's back to the plasma membrane, it recruits MyD88. But this is only bound to the endosome. Okay, maybe let's draw the picture of this. Okay. See? Okay. Right. So this is TLR3. Okay. Now, if it's being, we're going to be focusing on the TRIF, so we're focusing on the when it's bound to the endosome. Now TLR3 is always bound to the endosome, so it doesn't really, it's never a special case whereby it's bound to the membrane or what, or plasma membrane. It's always bound to the endosome. So we're going to be looking at the situation when they're both bound to the endosome, because in a plasma membrane is when it's recruiting MYD88, right? And that means it has to bind with a adapter protein called MAO, and from there bind with MYD88. Then the entire process of we've discussed last time it take place. But we're looking at TRIF. So in TRIF, TIR region here recruits, okay, for TLR4, right? The TIR region recruits a protein called TRAM. You remember I talked about TRAM last time, right? TRAM is a bridging adapter protein, right? And TRAM recruits TRIF, okay? And they both bind by the TIR. They both bind by the, sorry about that, TRAM recruits TRIF, right? And they both bind by the TIR region, TIR to TIR bonding, right? Okay, but that's for TLR4. But for TLR3, TRIF binds directly to the TIR region. Okay, it binds that TRIF. This one skips this. It doesn't need that. This one just binds directly to the TIR region. Okay, so now, okay, when TRIF binds, this TRIF, okay, sorry about the writing, but that is TRIF. Okay, so if TRIF binds, it goes to activate. Okay, it activates another protein, and this is very important, called TRAF 3. Okay, now TRAF 3 goes ahead to activate itself again, right, through polyubiquination. That means, yeah, just put a U for the poly, through ubiquination, in order to allow itself bind to two types of complexes, right? So it either binds to, when it's already been activated itself by polyubiquination, right, means cleaving of certain things, right? So it goes ahead to bind to a complex called IKKI and IKK epsilon, right? This the TRAF 6, that TRAF 3, sorry, that binds to it. I'm going to shade it so you know that that's the one that binds, right? Or it goes ahead to bind to another protein called, we're going to look at these ones in detail, TBK. Okay, TBK1, and so this is the TRAF 3. Okay, so either it binds to let me see, TRAF 3, right? So either it binds here or it binds here. So these two, which is this and this, these complexes, when they bind with this, they go ahead and they activate themselves, okay, by phosphorylation. Okay, this activates itself by phosphorylation. Now mind you, this binding, right, is either this or this. They're not this, they don't all bind together. That's why I wrote it O, right? So now they can complete the entire complex, this or this, both. If this is done and if this is the one that is bound to, it's going to do the same thing, but they're both all going to activate a specific protein called IRF3. IRF3. And you guessed it, by phosphorylation, the most common way of activating proteins. Okay. Now this protein goes on ahead to combine Okay. Okay, with an other IRF3 protein, right, IRF3 to form a homodimer. Sorry about that. You got so homodimer, right? So this guy either goes to do this thing to form a homodimer with itself, or it goes ahead to form a heterodimer. IRF3, IRF7. That's a heterodimer with IRF7. So either form a homodimer with itself, forms a heterodimer with IRF7. Okay. Now IRF7 then goes ahead. I mean the homodimer. Let me just this is the homodimer, right? Okay. IRF3 goes ahead to bind to its final state. Sorry about that. Someone was knocking. I have to continue for myself. Anyway, so the homodimer binds to a protein, okay, called a transcription factor, okay, inside the nucleus. Now, first of all, before I do that, right, let me just go back real quick, right, and say something. They both, okay, these things both enter the nucleus of a cell. Okay, they go into the nucleus of the cell. All this happens in the endosome / the cytosol, and they finally reach the nucleus of the cell, okay, where they bind to transcription factors, okay, and one of the transcription factors is called ISRE3, okay. Now this transcription factors goes ahead, okay, to to transcribe, to produce transcript, make transcripts for interferon genes, for interferon proteins, right? For the cytokines, that is the cytokines. These genes are the things going to transcribe and be translated to these cytokines. That's what this ISRE3 binds to when it's been activated. The same thing, okay. This is the nucleus now, right? So from in the nucleus, so that's the spell nucleus. Okay. Okay. So in the nucleus, they go in there, and this is now the heterodimer. We have the homodimer, okay, and the heterodimer, okay, and the heterodimer, remember, is IRF3 and IRF7, and this one binds to the, I guessed it, ISRE7. So for the heterodimer, it binds to the ISRE7. For the homodimer, it binds to the ISRE3. Okay, sorry if I not really see my handwriting, I do apologize. I write like a doctor. No, I'm better than a doctor. So if you're not really seeing my writing, just listen to the audio, then you can trace the thing out yourself and do it a couple of times to remember it. Okay, so that's what happens, and they go into and this one does the same thing. Okay, go to make to transcribe the cytokines transcript, right? Okay, that even makes any sense. To make the tRNA for the it does what transcription factors do to make tRNA for the cytokine. So okay, so that's what that is. Now that is one step. The other step, okay, when it comes to the formation of of cytokines, TLR4 can also follow another step. Okay, now I call this the NF kappa B step. NF kappa B step. Okay, so instead of TRIF, right, going through the entire process of the normal pathway, right, you can also go indirectly and through another pathway to produce NF kappa B instead of just producing ISRE3. I'm sorry, instead of producing instead of activating ISRE3, it goes ahead to activate NF kappa B. Sorry about that, right? It's not making it, it's activating it. All right. So next step is TRIF receptor. Let's say TRIF receptor 4 for now. Okay. Okay, you know this. This is the best drawing you will ever see of a TLR. So, TLR receptors 4, let's assume that is it. Remember, it was bound to TRAM, right? And it was bound to TRIF. And this is the star, right, of the show. So, in this stage, instead of going towards, instead of going to activate TRAM3, when it goes ahead to activate TRAM6. Sorry, TRAM6. What am I talking about? Oh, my mistake. 1 second. Yeah, TRAF6. My bad. Okay. Okay, so it goes ahead to activate TRAF6. Okay, and TRAF6 then goes ahead, okay, to form a complex this time with a different set of proteins than last time, because this is not TRAF3. TRAF3 was the former pathway to stimulate to stimulate these transcription factors. This one is for NF kappa B, right? So it goes ahead to, combine with this RIPI, which is RIPI protein, and this is the TRAF6 around here. Bonds with the RIPI, sorry, bonds with another protein called the ADD, yeah, FAD. Another protein called the TRAD. So TRAF6, RIPI, FAD, and TRAD all combine together to form a complex that will go ahead and stimulate something that you have heard before. And the thing that's stimulating, just take a wild guess. It's called the... Oh, my bad, I think I made a mistake. Okay, so back to here, right? Before they stimulate this, the TRAF6. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. The TRAF6 goes ahead to stimulate the thing you've heard before called IRAX protein complex. It combines with the IRAF protein complex, and those protein complex, right, are called... Oh, sorry, I'm making so much mistakes. Okay, so sorry. It does... This one is fine. Okay. Pardon me, right? I'm just remembering this thing. So, there we go. No more mistakes, hopefully. The TRIF, right, stimulates this complex, the IRAC complex. IRAC-M, IRAC-4. Yes, I just remember. And IRAC. Okay. 1 and 2. Right? So the TRIF stimulates the IRAC complex of last time, right? And the IRAC complex goes ahead to stimulate TRAF6. So forget about this. This is so messy. Ugh, I hate making mistakes, I swear. Pardon me. So it goes like this. Okay? And stimulates the IRAC complex. Remember IRAC complex there down from the MyD88 pathway. And it's kind of slightly following the MyD88 pathway, right? But not directly. Okay? So it comes ahead and stimulates this IRAC-4, IRAC-M, IRAC-1 or 2, rather not, it's 1 or 2, it's not 1 or 2, right? So this is IRAC-M, IRAC, just think of Iraq, right? 4, IRAC-1 or 2, that's the complex here, right? So either it's 1 or 2, but this must be one of these. You have to bind with the rest of them. So that's what TRIF does, and TRIF goes away to activate TRAF6, and TRAF6 goes away to combine and form a complex with this RIPI, FADD, TRADD, right, or TRAD, and together when they form that, they go ahead and activate NF kappa B. There you go. Sorry for the long stuff. And Eric Abubi goes ahead and does his thing because the transcriptor factor goes ahead to, you know, make the genes to transcribe the genes needed for the cytokines. So that's the way it is. Let's look through what we studied before. So around here, okay, we have this TLR receptor 4, TLR receptor 3. TLR receptor 3, TRIF binds to its TIR domain straight to the point. There's no bridging protein. But if it needs to bind to TLR4, it has to go through TRAM. TRAM bridges protein and bind with a TIR region, and they both bind to this TLR4, right? So far it's in the endosome. Notice this is in the endosome. If it's not in the endosome, the pathway will be different. The pathway will not even be TRIF. The pathway will be what? If it's on the plasma membrane, the pathway will be MAL/MyD88 pathway. But since it's TRIF, means that they are both, on the endosomal membrane. Okay, so when that happens, when this TRIF binds with TRAM, it goes ahead to activate this TRAF3 activates itself by polyubiquination, and from there it goes away to combine, okay, with either this IKKI and IKK epsilon complex, or the TBK1 complex. Okay, and when that happens, either of these ones, alright, a big ball, you can go in to activate IRF3. True phosphorylation, of course, right? But first of all, before that, when this TRAF6 binds with them, they both activate themselves. The complex reactivates itself through something called self-activation, right? And then they go to activate this TRAF3 through phosphorylation, and from there they go to form. When they have activated this phosphorylation, either they form a homodimer with themselves. This IRF forms a homodimer with itself to form an homodimer complex, or it forms a heterodimer with itself to form an heterodimer complex. Right? And when that has happened, the homodimer complex can bind to this transcription factor called ISRE3, right? And that transcription factor inside the nucleus. Remember, okay, when they form this homodimer heterodimer, they go into the nucleus. Okay, this is the nucleus here, right? And so inside the nucleus, they bind together and activate this ISRE3 or this ISRE7. Now, how you will know which one is the heterodimer? Because it has a 7 and the 3. So the 7 is what we written on the transcription factor. As for this, the 3, because it's both 3 and 3, the 3 written transcription factor. So they have heterodimer that has the IRF3/IRF7 in one, right? Because the hetero means different, right? That heterodimer binds to the ISRE7, while the homodimer, which is IRF3 and IRF3, both of them together the same thing, IRF3 squared if you want to put it like that, right? They can go ahead and bind to this transcription factor ISRE3, and together, right? And together they end up leading to, they all don't bind to their respective genes and synthesizing their respective transcript, whatever. Right. So, yeah. So in this one, okay, so that's the pathway that's just the TRIF, and just going on to the RE3, ISRE, blah blah blah, activation factors, right? When it comes to the NF kappa B activation, right, instead of ISRE3, right, and the rest of that, it follows even instead of activating TRAF3, it activates TRAF6 after going through the IRAC complex. So it's still the TRAM adapter or bridging adapter, right? I see the TRIF bridging adapter, but then they go ahead to activate what I call the IRAC complex, made out of IRAC-M, IRAC-4, IRAC-1 or 2, and this complex goes ahead to activate this TRAF6. And this TRAF6, not TRAF3, TRAF6 goes ahead to combine and activate, right, this complex, right, called the RIPI, made up of RIPI, TRAF6, FADD, right, and TRAD, TRADD, right? And from there they go on to activate NF kappa B, which go ahead to transcribe the genes, and that is that. 25 minutes on point. Thank you. See you guys later. Bye.